Hi everyone, welcome to Crafting with KGF Designs. Today we will learn how to do a reversible wood sign just like this. Check the description for more details for the materials that I've used. If you find this video helpful, please give it a thumbs up, share it, and subscribe. You can also follow me on Facebook, Instagram, and Pinterest. Alright, let's begin. This is the sign that I already made, and I'm going to be making a reversible sign behind this sign. What I did with this is that my husband made a sandbox and they use 1x8x8, and what I did is I got two 1x8x8s and I glued it in the middle with carpenter glue, and then I stapled them. You can see the staples right there, and I stapled them on the middle, leaving about maybe 3 to 5 inches gap in between the staples, and then I let it dry. I used white paint and I sand it to kind of give it a vintage look. We drill holes to the sides and I attach a wire so it will hang. So the same concept will apply for the sign on the back side of this sign, and I'm gonna be using the same letters so it is consistent. I really like this letter, and I need to decide whether I want the letters that I'm going to include in this sign to start from the edge of the sign like this, or if I want it to start maybe like 5 to 10 inches away from the edge of the sign. Pretty much that's it. In order for me to use the letters on Cricut for my sign, I need to measure how big the sign ended up to be after I attach both planks of wood. So I've measured with a measure tape, and it says that this is 14.25 inches wide, and then from here to over there is actually 48 inches long. And now what I'm going to do is I am going to spray paint it. Paint that I'm going to be using is a Krylon chalky finish waterfall. That's waterfall is the color. So I'm gonna go ahead and spray paint it. I just need to be careful for the paint not to bleed under my white background for the other sign that I have underneath this. Close. So here you go. I will need to give it a second coat. So it looks like I had some paint on the wire, so for that it will easily come off. I just need like a wire sponge to take it out, and then it bled a little bit, but that's okay. It's very small, and then what you can do is paint it over, or you can sand it and then paint it over it. Also, make sure that you prep the surface of your sign with paint on both sides first, whatever color you want the background to be, and then add the wire. So here it is, all painted. Now I just need to go to design space. We're here in design space, and we're going to be designing what's going to go into the sign. So first I will need to add a shape, and the shape will need to be the same size as my sign. I'm going to unlock the size. The width is 48 inches and the height is 14.25. I'm going to decrease the size so I'll be able to see it. Then I'll be ready to add the text. What I want the text to say is where life begins. I want family. I want love never ends. That's what I want it to say. So I'm going to move it over here and make it a little bit bigger so we can see it. What I'm going to do now is I want the first phrase to be to the left, and I want the second phrase to be on the right. I want family to be in the middle, and that will need to be bigger. So let's go ahead and do that. I am going to ungroup the lines. I'm going to bring where life begins. I'm going to bring family in the middle, and I'm going to send the other phrase to the right. Now I am going to change the font. I want this to be the font that is called Made Bon Voyage, and I already know that because I already looked the font on Character Map, and Character Map makes everything go so much faster since you can see all the letters and decide what type of font you would like to use in advance. Right there. Now the letters are a little too skinny for me, so I am going to bold them. I'm going to do the same thing for the phrase in the right, and I'm going to bold it. I'm going to go to Style, click on there in that field, and click on Bold. Now I am going to make family bigger. I think these letters will need to be smaller. I'm gonna just use 120. And double click on font size and put 120, and now the letters are the same size. I'm going to change the font for family. I want that font to be Shanghai Free all the way at the bottom since it starts with an S here. Gonna make it bigger. And I want this to be more ornate, so I will need to change the Y and the F to make it wavy. With that, I need to go to my character map. I'm going to scroll down all the way to where that font is located, just right here, Shanghai Free. And you can find this in thatfont.com, and it has like 3 different types of fonts. So I am going to choose this. So let's click on, I think that's the F. I'm going to click copy, going to design space, and I am going to double click and I'm going to paste it. Control V is for pasting. Same thing I'm going to do for the Y. I'm going to my characters map, click on the Y, click copy, go over here and paste. All right, so now I need to go into the letter space and decrease the letter space so all the letters will be together. Okay, and now I am going to ungroup the letters, and I am going to drag the letters like that. And I think I'm happy with that. I am going to select all, move it, and I'm going to weld it. Little button over here is going to weld. Everything keeps together. And I want to see if I need to make it bigger or smaller. Let's align this. There you go. I have like 2 dots of space in between family, you see. And now I am going to align these 3 phrases to be centered vertically. And now all the phrases are aligned right in the middle. So I think I like how this looks, so I'm going to weld it. So now I am going to put it over the sign, and in here I can see if I need to change some things or not. I can make it bigger. That runs all the way through the edge of the sign, or I can make it smaller. Kind of have even spaces. I think I'm gonna make it a little bit smaller. I'm going to select all and align center. I think that looks pretty even. Now that we have the letters in the center of the sign, what we want to do now is slice it. So we are going to select all and click slice. This way we will have the letters aligned within the surface of our sign. This will help us with the transfer. So I don't want the letters since I won't be able to see where they go. I don't need this shadow. All I'm going to use is this. So now we're going to be slicing for cutting the sign. Cricut is telling us that our sign is too big. So therefore we will need to slice it. Let's insert the shape. I'm going to change the color of this, so I will know which one is the shape and which one is the surface of my sign. And I need to size this shape to be 11.5 wide by 14.25 high. I am going to align it to the top left. And now that everything is selected, I'm going to slice it. I would like to use the original images. So anything that is pink, I am going to delete it. There you go, that's our first cut. I am going to do the same thing. I'm going to insert another shape. I am going to change the size to 11.5 by the height of my sign. I'm going to change the color, and it looks like I will need to have 3 more of this, so I'm just going to go ahead and copy them. Okay, so now I am going to select the shape in my sign, align it to left and to top. I'm going to slice it. I don't need the pink. I'm going to do the same thing. And this one is telling me that still is big, so I need to slice it one more time. So now I have all the cuts that I need to make this sign. One of the things to keep in mind is that when you cut it like this, Cricut is going to be cutting 1/4 of an inch, like kind of like a seam allowance, but it's like a cutting allowance. And for that, we need to make sure that the letters, for example, you see this E right here, this E, the little leftover E, is going to be attached to that seam allowance. So therefore, with an X-Acto knife, we will need to trim this off so we can transfer it. And the same thing will happen over here. This will be part of the cut allowance, so we will need to slice it with an X-Acto knife. You will be able to transfer it. The same thing over here. All these intersection points we will need to be trimming, and they are just very little, so it's not that big of a deal. Just gotta make sure you follow a straight line from the cut allowance. Hey, that's pretty much it, and now let's just send to make it.
I don't know if you can see it, but here is the where Cricut went from the edge, just went inside the background. So what I need to do is line it up with a ruler and use my X-Acto knife and cut right in here so I can transfer the letter. And then the same thing for this. I would just need to cut right there all the way down, and then my letters will be free to be transferred. Okay, so I am going to be trimming the edges that are still attached. I'm going to make a little dot with my pen on the edge of the sign to guide me where else I need to do the cut. And with my X-Acto knife, I'm just going to slice it down, following the direction, and do really slow. And now they are cut. So now my letters are free to be placed in my sign. So now I am going to weave out my letters. So now I am ready to place the transfer paper on my sign, on my vinyl. The transfer paper is long. It's better if you cut the transfer paper at the same height as your sign. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to use the Cricut borders to help me set my transfer paper the right way. I'm going to start with the left, put it to the right. Here is my sign all finished. As you can see, I don't have enough space right here versus here.
What I needed to do was mark 1/4 of an inch of the sign and align that with the edge of my transfer paper, so I'll be able to have an even space. But overall, it looks good. There you go. I hope you find this video helpful, and you can post pictures on the comments to let me know if what were your projects. Thanks so much. Happy crafting.